myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on that thought.
Good evening and welcome to NUFC Matters. Geordies here, Geordies there. It's a Wednesday night and we're joined by George, Mitch, Stu, Al-Walid, Steve Hasty and Steve Wilkinson. And Al-Walid, congratulations on the new arrival.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the lovely messages, which I didn't have time to reply, but I will reply, I promise.
Great stuff, and another member of the Toon Army, I hope.
Yes, of course, and we're gonna name her Hayat, which is mean life. But sometimes, I'm not really sure. And my wife, she got the name, but she's still hesitating. But I think this is gonna be the name.
I did laugh at some of the suggestions online. People suggesting Amanda.
I really wish, but I think it's not allowed to have a very foreign name for I don't know, for some reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Well, congratulations, mate, and welcome to more sleepless nights. I'm sure you've had them before, so good luck with that. Okay, let's just look back at the weekend's game as we often do. And George, another great performance, a 2-0 win at Brentford. Newcastle flying high, results going our way again at the weekend and again last night with Burnley losing. We're on top of the world at the minute, George, aren't we? Really is. Well, certainly on top of that relegation battle.
Absolutely, and I'm green with bloody envy because you were there and I wasn't. I mean, it must have been fantastic to be there. I mean, 2 weeks ago I said to you I hadn't had a bigger smile for years, and then last week I was saying the smile was even bigger. Well, this weekend I contemplated on Sunday morning going to the RVI to get my bloody smile taken off surgically. It was stuck that hard. I mean, it wasn't fantastic, and if it was just a game, it would be good. But it's more than just a game. It's all the other things around it. The fact that here we are with our so-called talisman, not even the ground, never mind playing, and we still turn in a really top trump performance, and players who I have to accept, Fraser, Joe Linton. Less than a year ago, I was saying on programs I was involved with you, Steve, that we should get rid of them. What the hell we're keeping them for? Fraser was just unplayable on Saturday. He was fantastic. And everybody, as the lads often say, put in a shift. I mean, even Woods had some criticism because he hasn't scored, yes. But by God, he tried hard on Saturday. And it was more by good luck than good management that Brentford kept him out of the net. And if you have another look at Joe Linton's goal, the goal was brilliant, but the two centre-backs were all over Wood. I think if that goal hadn't gone in, we would have got a VAR penalty because they were wrestled Wood to the ground. It was so bad. And then the play, we've seen Shaw not just being the great defender, but coming out for that second goal and after a breakup from one of their corners and playing a sublime ball to Willock, who then equally sublimely just took it past the goalkeeper. All of this is absolutely incredible for us fans and for the club and all the rest of it. And then to add to that, as I say, is the performance of the fans. I mean, you would never believe that there was only 1,700 fans or so there. It was just outstanding from beginning to end. The only noise you could hear was Newcastle United, and then there was the thanking of the fans at the end by the team and the squad and the manager and his team. And I thought there was a touching thing near the end where Joe Linton was left on his own, and they were singing his song and all the rest of it. And Eddie Howe, when he eventually went off, Eddie Howe sort of took it to one side and obviously said something to him. And I just thought that was quite nice when you consider that, as I say, less than just over 8-9 months ago, people were struggling to say his name. I mean, I even give him a nickname, which I'm not going to use now because the lad's earned the respect to be what he is, Joe Linton and our number 7. But it all added to a great weekend. I mean, you could go through the team. Shelby again is the Shelby we bought. Rafa bought how many years ago? 3-4 years ago. And he's back playing as well as that, in my opinion. So whatever magic sugar or tea that Howe's putting in their coffee on training mornings, it's working. And they're certainly working hard, because I can hear them from my front garden. I can hear them training over the other side of the railway line. And before, you could hear them from the morning till lunchtime, and that wasn't every day even, and the way they went. Now, like, sometimes hear them at 5 and 6 o'clock at night. And some of the kids who collect autographs around the place, one of my neighbours' grandsons went to collect autographs. He was getting autographs off some of the squad. It's 7 o'clock at night on their way home. Well, goodness gracious, what a transformation. We were lucky to see them around the ground at 2 o'clock in the afternoon before. Now they seem to have things happening all of the time. And as you saw that interview with Ryan Fraser, which was just absolutely fantastic, you think to yourself, well, there's something happening. This man, Howe's obviously got something that gels all these lads together, and they're buying into, and that's great. So yeah, fantastic. You've got to pick up the downer bits as well. I don't know what we ever did to Mike Dean to make him so anti-Newcastle United. He was not going to give a free kick for that desperate tackle on our left full-back. He was just going to let it go. And it took the VAR.
He gave a free kick to Brentford.
Yes. It took VAR to say to him, hey, have a look. Really, awful. And then the other idiots like Merson on Sky. The lad just didn't have anywhere to put his foot. Didn't have anywhere to put his foot. So he's going to break somebody's leg because he didn't have somewhere to put his foot. What an idiot. So-called professional. I mean, it really is disgusting. And then today, our other friend, Agbon Lahore, criticising Trippier for being part of the squad. Can't you see, you idiot? It's that sort of togetherness that's making the difference at Newcastle. Probably the sort of thing that he never had in his playing career. But he's criticising Trippier for going down to Brentford with the squad and all of this sort of thing. What a bunch of idiots. So long may it continue. And I can only say that the harder the kick, the better we're getting. And that's absolutely fantastic. Other big smile for me is, I guessed the score right. 2-0 was what I predicted. So that it also had to be a plus. But yeah, fantastic. And I can only say that looking forward to this weekend with huge amount of confidence in a way in which I possibly couldn't have been just 2 months ago. I mean, 2 months ago, I would have been thinking that this Brighton game was going to be, a must-win sort of thing. We now have the comfort of being able to go out against Brighton and enjoying it. I hope they do. They're really entitled to it, and the fans are entitled to see them at home. It's good to see that the Palace won the cup game, because that means that other away game that we had with them's got to be rearranged. But you can guarantee it'll be on a 7 o'clock on a Thursday night or a Friday night, and no good for Newcastle fans. But hey ho, that's the Premier League for you. Who knows? We might get all that changed shortly, but we'll wait and see. But yes, Steve. I mean, as you can see, I could talk for the whole hour, but I'm not going to. But it was the fantastic weekend, and really, I can't remember back to the cup final days, back to the 50s, feeling such a feeling of positivity about the club, the city, the fans, all together in the way suddenly it's happening now with us at Newcastle. So, yeah, roll on Saturday.
Yeah, okay. And if you've got a question, we often do Ask George on a Wednesday night. So get your question across. I'll pick the best one out. And when we come back to George, we'll ask you a question. It can be anything to do with Newcastle United's history, If you want to test his knowledge, get the question in and we'll ask that usually halfway through the show. Mitch, interesting game at the weekend with Brentford. I mean, it was Christian Eriksen's return to football. ASM, of course, was missing, which caused a bit of a furore on social media. Some people thinking that he was playing the club along, other people saying he wasn't, and media getting involved. But it was another valuable 3 points towards safety, mate. And, it's put us at the top of that relegation battle now.
Let's just stick to what has happened, and what has happened is, for the most part, this squad's bought into what Eddie Howe wants to do. That's the difference. And there's, you can talk about buying more way out of it and this, that, and the other, but then on the other hand, the media are then saying, well, Trippier's not playing, so why is he there? Well, because he's bought into it. And he's an important part of the dressing room. Money that was spent over January hasn't played that many minutes. And so when they're saying you bought your way out of it, but the biggest difference is with those players like Fraser, like Murphy, who absolutely raised their game and raised their interest in everything. That makes a huge difference. I've not seen we put a team away comfortably when they've been down to 10 men for a long time. I've not seen it. We always seem to get jittery against 10 men. And this weekend, it was never in doubt as soon as that first goal went in. And let's be brutally honest and upset the sentimentalists. The American people gave Christian Eriksen man of the match, but the real man of the match was the Brentford keeper. You look how many saves he made and how many top-class saves he made. We could have given him a real shellacking. We did in reality, but the score could have been anything we wanted it to be at one point.
I think we had 26 shots, Neil.
Exactly.
26, yeah.
And that's a proper 1,000. And their keeper must have been knackered at the end of that game. And he made some great stops. Let's make no bones about it. So we'll come away from that with all of that positivity. Look, I've heard all sorts of things over the last few weeks. And over the last year, in fact, there's all sorts that's come across not just my radar, but Stu's radar and Steve's radar. That was just to say, did you know what? We're in a good place, or we've got better things to talk about. Let's just crack on. We've got our own opinions about who and what should be in the starting 11 and where we're going to go in the future. And everybody's got a right to think that way. Ours are shaped not through sort of a desire to cause mischief or anything like that, or for getting gooey-eyed about something. It's more about, relaying the facts as we understand it across the like-minded people and sharing opinions and thoughts on occasion, and sometimes we don't. And so, from my point of view, Eddie Howe's got that dressing room managed well. And however he decides to sort any problem out, be that with any player, I'm all for it. And it seems to be at the moment, he doesn't just have the man management right of the individuals, he has the man management of the group right. And everybody still seems to accept certain things and they just get on with it and they dig in and they produce the results on the pitch, and they keep producing the results on the pitch, and I can see them continuing to do so. Nothing's going to shake that wave that's in the dressing room at the minute, and I think very much similar to what my dad said about Paul Merson. I don't know if a Geordie ran away with Agbonlahor's missus or something. You can't say a good word about it at all, and I don't think that's just for TalkSport's benefit. He comes across as a very bitter individual, simple as that. And he's doing it for clicks and what have you, and sensationalism, and that's I guess what he's being paid to do. But by God, he doesn't help himself with coming out with some weird takes. And like a lot of these things, we're having all sorts thrown at with. I think with current world events and current events at Chelsea, I think we're seeing a different side of it, and I think we'll see eventually some of the stuff chucked at us will calm down a little. And it's starting to already, as far as I'm concerned. So let them crack on, let them say what they want. We just enjoy riding the wave at the moment. We can't be complacent, though, and I don't think Howe will let anybody become complacent in the situation. And it's going to be nice that coming up soon, he's going to have some wonderfully difficult decisions about who's going to slot in where and who's going to play and who isn't. And they're the nice decisions to have. And that's only going to get better once we secure Premier League safety, and you can talk about who's then come in next season. Can you imagine another striker playing at number 9, and then you've got Wood and Wilson sitting on the bench, ready to come on and cause chaos in one way or another, depending on the game situation? Wouldn't that be a fantastic luxury, for example? And these are going to be fantastic things to come, and we can just think positively and look at that. At the moment, there's no point in really doing much else.
Yeah, I did like Jamie Rubin's tweet, which Kenzie's pointed out, a bongler ball. It's quite a good use of reset. It definitely got to make tweet of the week, that. Amanda lead is a great idea, Alba lead, by the way. Somebody suggested that. Can you maybe do some research? You're on mute. Amanda lead was a suggestion by somebody.
Yeah, what does it mean?
I don't know, but it's. I'm just trying to get you into trouble with your wife by changing the name. Any more suggestions for Al Walid's newborn?
Actually, I thought of Tyne as a name, and I remember I asked Dave. He said Tyne. It's a girl name also in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
Tyne, but it's. I had an issue with my first daughter name with my wife, so I didn't want to repeat it again. That's why I said, you name her. That's it.
All right, good stuff. Okay, Steve, the woman's always right.
Steve, yes, I'm glad my Marjorie can't hear this conversation about names of babies, because the young man sitting to my right, I was sent to the registry office to put the name in for my new baby, and Marjorie wanted Neil and I wanted Andrew. And so I went to the registry office, and that's why he's Neil Andrew. Neil Andrew Gardner Mitchell. The other thing I was told not to do was to give him 4 names like I've got, GHG Mitchell, he's NHG Mitchell. So I did the whole lot. So good job, my Marjorie's listening to this.
we didn't have a middle name here. It's not acceptable. So
that rules that out as well. That rules that out. You couldn't have Newcastle United as the middle name, or all the names of the people from Afid Zain Pet or something like that. Never mind. Well, I'm sure there'll be some more suggestions. Stu, a great weekend, and it's just a good team performance. And I've got to be honest, we discussed Kraft last week, about the stick that he got for giving away the free kick. He couldn't have answered his critics any better, could he? He put a really good, solid performance in. It was a good team performance, but I was watching Kraft in particular, and I was just delighted for him. He did really well.
I think if we recall correctly, myself, I think it was Mitch that defended Kraft a lot last week.
Yeah.
And praised his efforts, and we should get behind him. But the game on Saturday, it was, if you look at who was missing from the starting 11, you've got Trippier, Wilson, ASM, Bruno, arguably our 4 best players or most effective players. And they're all missing, but the team ethic that Howe's drilled into these players, he's drummed it into them. It shows that to me, that will survive comfortably. And then we can start looking to thrive next season, because they were professional, they were well drilled. When they went down to 10 men, there was no gung-ho. Everyone kept the roles. They knew exactly what they needed to do. And the feeling I've got now, it's I know George went back to the 50s there, but I'm not that old to do that. But it reminds me of the promotion season under Keegan, when you're going into games now expecting to win.
Yeah.
And I think I touched on it last week as well. Anyhow, another person who I've defended as well has been, saying everything he touches turns to gold at the moment. He's got the Midas touch, hasn't he? And what we have to look at for him, I think the biggest issue he's got to have, and what Mitch has just mentioned there, it's a nice position to be, is let us stay up. Then we start bringing players in. Who does he place? And this is where Keegan excelled, when he took the emotion out of it and the personal attachment he had with players, like the Kilclines, the Peacocks and the Kellys, and he replaced them with players that he seemed fit to take Newcastle to the next level. And I'm more than confident that Eddie Howe's capable of doing exactly the same. You know, and each player who does go now, who does leave now, will leave with our blessings and we'll get a good resounding response when they return, unlike some players who have left in the past, you know, because they've all committed to playing the part. And I think this season, you know, I think we need to also call Joe Linton by his proper name, because it sounds like he should be called Joe Ellington. And I think what Joe Ellington's done, he has mirrored Newcastle's renaissance this season. You know, if you look at the difference at the start of the season, you could use these words: lackluster, lazy, lethargic, lost even. You know, and now him and the team, they're cohesive, they're confident, they're composed, they're controlled. And he is a proper midfielder. And we would never have found out, or we may never have found out, if another person I defended vigorously at the time was Kieran Clark. If he hadn't been sent off, then Joe Ellington wouldn't have been put in the midfield, would he? You know, so it's like everything happens for a reason, and we found someone that's probably going to save us 40 or 50 million pounds in the summer, and that can go elsewhere. You know, so I can say, was I wrong when I criticised Joe Linton in the past? No, because I think he was worthy of that criticism due to the lack of effort he was putting in, and it was more the effort. But now he's like a different person. Never mind a different player, he's like a different person. He's bounced around like Skippy the Kangaroo, isn't he? The confidence, and it's not arrogance, it's the self-belief he's got in his own ability. And again, you've got to congratulate the management team, not just Eddie Howe, but the management team, on the work they've put in with him and the fact that he knows exactly what he's doing. And now players are worried, well, opposition's worried about Joe Ellington, rather than us as fans worried that he's in the team. And that's how things can change so quickly. And it's amazing how fast it has changed, you know, and it's exciting. And as George said just before there, I can't wait for Saturday for the next game. And
I'm going to stick with Big Joe, Stu. I'm going to struggle because I'm going to keep. You've just done it. You keep flicking from one to the other. I'm just going to say Big Joe.
Yeah, I'll have to keep saying it's Joe Ellington, but Big Joe, J7, whatever. But you know, it's even with, I put a tweet out, as I said before, that we're 73 days unbeaten now. I mean, that's going to end eventually. Mm-hmm. But when? You know, there's no reason why it should. You know, so it will, but.
Well, there's going to be turmoil at Chelsea with that announcement. Abramovich is confirmed he's selling Chelsea. I mean, that's huge breaking news, Stu. That's whilst you were talking. And obviously, this horrendous situation we find ourselves in the middle of in the Ukraine is obviously playing its part. But I mean, you know, they could change laws like that, and things could be taken off, and he could find himself penniless. But he is going to sell Chelsea.
Well, is he confirmed that he's going to buy her yet?
He's confirmed that he's selling it, and that's it.
He was linked with I understand from something I read, he's already tapped up a Swiss banker that he knows to see if he's prepared to give him $3 billion.
Is that right in slang, George?
Aye. Would I ever?
No, you wouldn't, George.
He's 86, the person he asked, as I read. Yes, the Swiss banker is 86, but there's some holes in that story, I reckon. But we have to. I think we just need to keep looking forward, and this is why I'm glad I haven't commented about our previous manager, because it's like splitting up with someone. You know, you can start saying all the bad things, and all you're doing is weighing yourself down and looking in the past. It's like getting married to Miss World, isn't it? We've got the best owners with a forward-thinking manager, and you know, the sky genuinely is the limit for us. So let's just enjoy it, as we all say every week. Enjoy what's happening and what's coming, because we only had a taste of it back in the early 90s. This will be the real thing.
Al Walid, it's exciting times, and another win. I think this should be down to you, Al Walid. You were there at Brighton at the start of the revolution. You've now set up the official Saudi Supporters Association, and I don't think we've lost a game since you launched that.
No, I think Liverpool and City. It was.
But yeah, what's your views on the game, Al Walid, at the weekend? It was a good game, good result. Did you manage to see the highlights?
Actually, I enjoyed the game really, and It's very, very weird. Actually, at the same game, I was in a meeting with someone for the location. I'm trying to find a new location for our Saudi supporter club, because the old one, it's got some issues and it's closed for financial reason. And so, but I saw also a flash back for the game, and it, I think now continue what you are talking about is the team. Eddie Howe managed the team. It's like there is no me in the team. You know, if some players missing, you didn't feel it very much, which is great. And personally, I really enjoyed Guimaraes when he played. I think this is the player we were like really waiting for, and yet to come.
Yeah,
and very excited. I'm very excited for the Brighton game as well.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, there's a lot more to come from Bruno, and Eddie Howe again doing things the right way, you know, introducing him slowly but surely, and he will get a chance. We've got a big build-up of fixtures coming up, and he will get a chance to shine, and I'm sure he will. I think the amazing stat was that he, with the exception of 2 players on the Brentford team, he had more touches than the other, you know, 8 or 9 on the pitch, which is a fascinating statistic for just being on the pitch for half an hour. And it's the one thing I pointed out when I was at the game was that he's always looking for the ball. He wants the ball. He's confident with the ball, as are the other players we've brought in. We saw it with Trippier. We're seeing it with Dan Burn. They want the ball. They're not running away from it like a hot potato. You know, oh, not me, not me. They're making themselves available for a pass. Target as well.
Yes.
You know, it's a big difference, I believe. And, you know, it's a team full of confidence as well, isn't it?
Yes, this is what scared teams. You know, Brentford was very scared. And that's why they make mistakes like the red card. They were very afraid from Newcastle, and this is also, we saw that in West Ham as well. So this is what make me excited, and I'm expected to receive 10 points next 4 games.
Wow, that's optimism for you. We could be playing Chelsea at the right time in a couple of weeks' time, the way things are going. Steve, it's as you were. It's smiling faces and clean sheets and man of the matches and, you know, players and fans united. It's a long cry from those days of Steve Bruce in September.
Certainly is, isn't it? And long may it continue. Yeah, fantastic performance on the pitch. Great support again off the pitch. Daz Curry's Pirates on the boat on the river.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Daz Curry's Black and White Pirates, I think they should be called.
It was brilliant, mind, wasn't it? It looked great.
Absolutely.
And this is what it's all about. That's what the 3rd or 4th trip they've done. I think, you know, that sums up the Newcastle fans, the fun side of travelling away, everything. You know, I just wish I can get the chance to go on one of those trips eventually. But no, everything about Newcastle at the moment is positive. You know, the positivity is astounding. The change within the club since those dark days up to before the takeover, and then even after the takeover, what was happening on the pitch wasn't matching the euphoria off the pitch. But since that defeat against Manchester City on Boxing Day, we seem to have gone from strength to strength. There's a cohesion. Especially if we miss out the Cambridge game, obviously, you know, that was a cup match. But no, the cohesion on the pitch. And what's interesting, and I suppose the question that's on everybody's lips comes on Saturday is, do you change a winning format? You know, a winning team continues. If you're Pep Guardiola, you pick and choose your teams depending on who you're playing. You're playing to your strengths, but you're looking at your squad, and the strength in your squad is who you can leave out. That's the way that Guardiola, in my eyes, looks at it. He goes, right, who am I playing? Who can I afford to rest, etc., etc. Whereas with Newcastle at the moment, we're in a totally opposite situation. It's who do I want to keep in? Who is staying in? What do I need to change? No, I don't need to change. And I think he's got a winning formula. He's got a winning formation, and he's got players who are playing well. And we said it a couple of weeks ago on a couple of shows that the players who come out of the team will more than likely be players who are either suspended or injured, because he's keeping that winning momentum going. What we saw on Saturday, Fraser, who said after the match that he played on the left-hand side, his favourite side. I thought that was very interesting and a very telling comment. But what he also did was able, because of the energy he's got, was be able to tighten up in front of target and do an awful lot of work. But the 1-2s, the little interplay, and what Fraser was giving us on that left-hand side was an early ball into the box, an early ball to allow Wood, and in that situation, Joe Linton to run onto, rather than the ball being pulled back and it then coming from another foot and then the cross coming in the wrong way. All of those tiny little changes give the strikers that half-second extra that they need to plant their foot or to make the quicker decision than the defender on what they're going to do in terms of attacking the ball. That's tactics. That's great fortitude among the players and among the manager that he's got them doing that. That comes from hard work on the training pitch, and that's what we're seeing. Great performances all round. Could not pick a single player that would get less than an 8. And I think my man of the match for sheer work rate alone was Fraser. I have to give man of the match to Fraser in this instance. And like a few of us, we've been a critic of him. We've been a critic because he either hasn't played, or when he has played, he hasn't produced the goods, or he's been substituted. There was one game where he got substituted after 13 or 14 minutes, which wasn't his fault, which was when Kieran got sent off. And again, that was the change. That was that Stewie's talking about, the changes that happen in a team. Those little things, wasn't the player's fault that he got taken off, but what he did was he kept his head up and he made sure that the next time he was going to be in the team. And the manager probably put him to one side and said, "Hey son, that was a tactical decision. I had to take you off, but you're part of this." And he's gone out and he's just battled and battled. He looks fitter, he's faster, he's alert, and he's got a smile on his face and he's enjoying his football. And I can see Stewie in the top corner thinking, "Oh, maybe he's make me back to Scotland soon as well."
Yep, you will be.
100%. I can see that. Steve Wilkinson, it is just a good time to be a Newcastle fan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, on Saturday, I think that watching it, I think we would have won anyway. It was even though they went down to 10 men, and I think for most of the game, we probably didn't get out of second gear. I think we could have stepped it up had we had to at any point in time and got more goals. But I think it was a professional performance. If you think it was almost the same time we went down to 10 men when Kieran Clark got sent off, and that game, while we took the lead against Norwich, we couldn't hang on. And this one was, we played like you would have expected Norwich to have done that day, and took advantage of that extra man. Just from my point of view, just building on what Steve's been saying about Fraser and getting the crosses in. When I started being a fan in the 60s, we had Wyn Davies as the centre forward. He thrived on crosses coming at the box, and that was what was happening on Saturday. Is that Wood is someone that is going to need crosses, and he had 2 chances. I think there was a ball earlier on. He did a glancing header on from a cross. Which I don't know whether it was a combination of Fraser and Target were working together and getting the crosses, mainly Fraser. And there was a glancing header from Wood, and then he had that other one where he headed it down into the ground and the keeper saved it. I think we also had a cross on the other side that Shaw nearly scored with. So we're getting the ball in the air, and that's before we've seen Dan Burn. I mean, I'm expecting Dan Burn to bullet the header in from a corner at some point with his height advantage. But the goal that it's still Joe Linton to me. Sorry, I kind of change it from that. I'll have to practice as he goes on to his career in the future. But that was a header that Les Ferdinand, Wyn Davies would have been proud of. The way he's put that away, soaring above the defence and bulleting the header in the back of the net. And yes, it's glory times, and we've got to make sure we keep the momentum going, and we're going to be tested after Saturday. There's 4 away games in a row now, with the Palace game being having to be rearranged. So we're going to see the squad rotation coming in then somehow to give them both a rest, because we've got 3 tough away games in a week at Everton, Southampton, and Chelsea. So I'm certainly expecting to see some sort of squad rotation being used then. And but you just imagine anybody that comes into that team is just going to going to put a shift in because they're all playing for each other. And just going back to the thing about Agbonlahor, it's about saying Trippier. I would twist it the other way around and say, why was ASM not there? Because I think when you see some of these other teams, the top teams, and you sometimes pans onto the crowd, and there's players who aren't playing in the games because they're injured or in the crowd watching. And for me, you know, if you've got a 25-man squad, why are they not all there in supporting the team and seeing how they're playing and supporting them? So, you know, for me, it makes sense for Trippier to be there and some of the others as well. Yeah,
100%. It was great to see him there, and luckily I was not too far from him, and had a bit of banter with Trippier at the match, and he was following the games on his phone. He was checking the results. I said to him at half time, I said, well, that's us 14th. He says, oh, don't say that at the end of the game. He was good banter, but he was just great to see him actually being, you know, how engrossed he is in it. It was just fantastic as a supporter to see a player who's only just signed for us getting it and understanding what it's all about. And every time a player was going forward, he was shouting, go on. And he, you know, honestly, it was, you know, he forgot where he was at, I think, at times. And I think a few of the Brentford players had their fans had raised eyebrows. But it was great. It's great. We've not only brought in good, talented footballers, we've brought in people with the right attitude on and off the pitch, which is very, very important. Okay, it's time for the ads. And I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. Spider VPN, for all your internet security. Google Spider VPN. They come up at the top of the Google search list. They are the boys to trust. Thanks also to skipsandbins.com. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy, contract free, and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks also to L&G Family Funeral Directors, 01913897245, and the Garden of Healing Dispensary, CBD Hemp and Cannabinoid Specialists, www.thegohd.com. Thanks to Arcot Interiors, based on Heaton Road in Newcastle. Google Arcot Interiors. They come up at the top of the Google search list also. And acutexshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle. John also runs our website, NUFCmatters.com. Thanks to our new sponsor, Cleekai. Meet the new game over screen. Drop into a Clee Run device near you, and that is Cleekai there. So have a look at that on all your downloadable services such as your App Store and Google Play. Go to the website Clee Run Game. Thanks to Jab Signature, and thanks to Media Arts for all our video services. If you want to subscribe to the channel, then please do. Click the subscribe button down in the bottom right-hand corner, and that's it. You subscribe for free. Still 7 shows a week. Hit the thumb up to like the video. It does us a big favor. Click share to share to your social media, and drop into the comments box to leave a comment for us and get it on screen and to speak to like-minded Newcastle fans. You can also clip the video. You can notice underneath now, which means you can pick a particular clip that you liked or something you want to share, clip on it, edit it, and share it to your social media and share it to your YouTube page. Quite handy if you want to promote the show for us. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and the rest. If you want to join the NUFC Matters cult, wave your phone over this QR code, and that takes you straight to the website, NUFCmatters.com, and you can buy a membership pack, which includes a scarf, a pen, and a cup, and your membership card, and you go into the monthly draw. So check out NUFCmatters.com for more information. We are at the Dog and Parrot with Super Mac on Saturday at 1 o'clock, giving a pre-match talk, and then we'll be doing the post-match talk at 5:45. And we've got a few events coming up. Tickets are now on sale for NUFC Matters Live at the Marlborough Social Club, 9th of April. Tickets are a tenner to see Super Mac, Gibbo, and Holly. And I will be hosting that show as well. Summer Do tickets are on sale on Voucher on Groupon. Viva Morrissey, 17th of June, which is a Friday. That is our end of season party. Don't forget, you can support my Firewalk, which is the 14th of May. And you can join Team Wraith by entering the code NUFCM at checkout, and the website's wrfirewalk.co.uk. Don't forget to get your bid in for the t-shirt on my Twitter, and you can also buy these at nufcmatters.com. Proceeds going to the food bank from that. He's only got little arms. Get those t-shirts and wear them down at Everton. And you will have seen this. We've got a Shearer shirt up for grabs. If you go to the website, which I've tweeted, football prizes. and you can take a raffle ticket out for that. They've joined us for a month to see how it goes, and the ASM shirt sold out in record time, so I'm sure that one will do quite well as well. Okay, as always on this show, we have an Ask George section. Okay, there's a few questions coming, George, but I like this one from Geordie Tune for Life. He says, question for George. Back in the day, which referee did you rate and which ones did you have run-ins with? Come on, George. It's time to blow the whistle. There must be some good stories about back in the day from those in the middle. So obviously, over the years, we've talked about Mike Dean a little bit earlier on, but tell us about the referees who got on your wick, George.
Well, over the years, there's been quite a few, and I mean, the one that sticks in my mind was a big guy. He used to refereed cup finals and all sorts of things. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he was a fantastic character. And he talked to the players and kept the game flowing and all the rest of it. I'm racking my brains for the bloke's name now. However, it may come. And there were others who seemed to just blow the whistle at every opportunity they get and kill the game and all the rest, all of that sort of rubbish.
Was the referee Jack Taylor?
Jack Taylor, yes.
What it might have been.
Good shout, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah,
he refereed the World Cup final as well.
He did, yes. But the thing that I liked about him, and I think other supporters liked about him, was that he was involved in the game in a good way, not like Dean, who gets involved in a way in which it's all about him. Jack Taylor actually talked to players and kept things going. You could see him explaining to players what was happening, and that gave a good feel to the whole thing. So there was no surprise that people like Jack Taylor, as Steve rightly says, went on to referee a World Cup as well. And was well thought of abroad. In fact, that's a good point, because you look at the FIFA referees now that are refereed big matches. There aren't many British referees there anymore. At one time, it was lots of British referees. There are hardly any now who get it to that level. Trying to think of names of people who just spoiled the game by their attitude to refereeing.
Telford Mills, Steve Bennett says.
Uriah
Rennie.
Yeah. Yes, well, Uriah Rennie, of course, famously sent Alan Shearer off, didn't he? For persistent fouling after it wasn't even half time, but that was the reason he gave for sending Shearer off. What an idiot he was. Telford Mills as well. I mean, we're talking about people who in my mind, are not good referees, because they're more about them than it is about the game or the players, and gets up people's noses. I think Telford Mills, wasn't he
Brighton game for the cup match?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, just absolutely awful. And enough to get referees and football done away with. But as I say, it's interesting that if you look at, as I say, the international level referees from the UK at the moment are very low indeed. They are. At one time they were very high, and sometimes with the international matches you can see why. You've got a different standard of referees in Europe now than they used to have before, whereas we seem to have gone backwards. And I don't think, despite what some people say, I don't think VAR has done anything to help that. It's actually made it worse for them, because they're getting criticised for decisions that they're only partially making now. Where when the referee was making a decision, he had to take the lot, but now they can say, oh, well, it wasn't me, it was VAR made that decision. And it's just a whole mishmash of things that upset people. But the names the lads have put forward, Trevor Mills and etc., you're absolutely right. It drove people crazy. Drove
You're
people
talking about
barbie.
VAR there, George. Don't forget
Yes.
Mike Riley, who's now the head of the PGMOL. What a cantankerous, horrible referee he was. And the other one that got on my goat was Paul Durkin, who was the referee in the cup final 1998, if you remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was another
Well,
one
and
about him.
well, the other thing,
Jeff
the other
Winter
thing
as
about,
well, I didn't like him.
Yeah.
the other thing about those two that used to annoy me is that depending on who they were playing, for example, if we were playing Manchester United or Arsenal or somebody like that, one of the big six, as they call them, he would be talking to their players and allowing their players to talk to him. And yet, if one of our lads went up to him, they were getting short shrift. You could see they were just getting a one-word answer, and that sort of thing just irritates me intensely. And I'm glad it seems to be going away. However, it did reappear the other night when Tottenham beat Manchester City. The winning goal, the fourth official's face when the winning goal went in, it hit his boots
And his body language.
Yeah, I mean, it was just terrible. Supposed to be impartial, and he was actually behaving like a Manchester City supporter would. In fact, I immediately looked to see if it was bloody Taylor, because he lives with a kicking the backside off the ground. You know, I wondered if it was
Pawson.
It was Pawson, was it? Well, we've had run-ins with him, haven't we, on VAR? But but his as Neil says, his body language, but his face actually contorted when that winning goal went in. I thought, well, that's given something away, you know, which it shouldn't.
Who was it that once celebrated when a team scored, and his explanation afterwards was, well, because I allowed play to go on and I was congratulating myself for making the right decision. I can't remember who that was. He was caught on camera, fist pumping.
That's right.
Who? Sorry?
Mike Dean.
Well, it might have been, but I was thinking about the idiot who, just before we played in the Cup semi-final, admitted that he supported the other team and he didn't like Newcastle supporters. And I thought he shouldn't even have been allowed to referee that match after he said that. But he was. Come on, the big name as well. Oh, no, but you know that kind of thing. It's just appalling and shouldn't happen, but it is happening. It's still happening. So it's I haven't played at a reasonable level locally as well. I mean, there were some local referees were characters, and you could have banter with them on the pitch. And the one and only time I got sent off, a free kick was awarded against me, and to stop them taking a quick one, I kicked the ball away. And the referee said, well, I'm not having any of that. What's your name? So I said to him, Harry Seacombe. So he said, get off, Harry Seacombe. And he sent us off because I said my name is Harry Seacombe. But, you know, it was all part of the banter. And it goes on, but never mind. So that's something about referees. I hope that...
well, there you go. You've answered the question. I hope that was a good one. It certainly created a debate.
Can I just chip another little referee story in? It was when I was playing at Wallsend once, and my dad hadn't met the first team coach. We played, and the referee didn't turn up, so Paddy, our coach, took the whistle and refereed the game. Well, let's just say Paddy was being exceptionally fair to the other team, to the point of giving just about everything against her. And at the end of the game, we managed to win, but it was hard fought because of many dodgy decisions being given the opposite way. And my dad turned to my granddad and launched into it, a rant about the referee and who the hell bloody hell was that, and then had to introduce him to him after the game.
Brilliant.
All the lads heard and go, did you hear Mitch's dad having a go at Paddy? And my dad's like, hang on a minute, Paddy.
Brilliant.
All right, we've got a game coming up at the weekend. Brighton at home. George, we'll come back to you and then we'll go around the clock before we finish.
Okay.
How do you see that going? And would you play ASM this weekend if he's fit?
The answer is if everybody else is fit, no. He could, you know, we'll fit him in somewhere. But it's up to Eddie Howe, clearly is it. But I take what people are saying about he likes to keep a settled squad. But I wouldn't necessarily put him straight in. I'm looking forward to it, and I've got to say, Brighton, I think, have a couple of players who cause us difficulty, and they haven't scored for ages. So I wouldn't be surprised if they scored. So I'm going for a penman. I'm going for a 3-1 this weekend, and very confident that that's where we'll get. But I wouldn't necessarily play ASM straight away. No, he'd be on the bench, I think, and play him in when necessary.
Okay, Mitch, what about you?
I think similar-minded. If Bruno can sit on the bench, ASM can sit on the bench and work his way back into the team. Don't get us wrong, I love having him in there. I love watching him play. I know the stats suggest he's effectively the behind the most creative player that we've had statistically. But surely he's got to earn his place the way everybody else has to earn that place. So I'll be interested to see what he actually does with it. I think it would be very easy, I think, in the mind to take Murphy out, for example, and drop the SM into that side. But does Murphy, after the shift he's put in, deserve to be dropped? But it's a nice problem to have, for sure. And in terms of the result, Wadu will win. Apparently, they're one of the remaining teams who have never beaten the Premier League. So Wadu something off them. And I'll take another 2-0.
ASM, would you start him, Mitch?
No, he's got to earn his place back.
Okay, Stu, same question to you. ASM, he's fit, I think. His social media seems to say that he's fit. And, it's a conundrum which Eddie Howe is going to enjoy, having players fighting for position. But would you bring him back in? I mean, I guess playing devil's advocate, we were unbeaten when he lost these players. Does he deserve to come straight back in?
Well, a similar question was asked. Remember when we did it with Mick Lowe's, should we drop him? And I said, absolutely not. But now things have changed. We're a different animal. And if the captain can sit at the bench and not walk straight back in the team, then Bruno can sit at the bench and not get straight in the team. And I think Eddie Howe won't play him. I think he'll keep this very same team. And it's quite simple, isn't it? You just say to the players that are on the pitch, the shirt's yours. You have to go out and prove that you're worth it. And this is why they're running the way they are and performing the way they are, because I know we've now got a stronger bench and they can be replaced. So I think for several reasons, ASM will, if he is fit, then he'll start on the bench. But he could be a massive impact player to change the game for us if required later on. And if we are winning, bring him on for a bit of showboating as well. So the answer to the question is no, I don't think he will start. And I think we'll remain unchanged, and deservedly so. No one deserves to be dropped from the way they played the last few games.
Okay. Al-Walid, same question to you.
Just before we go, Al-Walid,
I presume it's 3-1, Stu.
It is, but I just wanted to mention the 73 days unbeaten in the Premier League harks back to when me and Mitch flew over to watch them draw against Man United. So they're unbeaten since me and Mitch have been there. Just thought I'd put that in.
Don't come back.
No,
it's relevant. It's all relevant.
Exactly.
For me, if St. Maximin is ready and fit, he should play, or else the rumors and these things will continue. So if everything is fine, he should play if he's ready. Personally, I would like to see Bruno Guimaraes starting. He's really a big push to the team, and his level is very high, and he really can be a great attacking leader, as he always asking for the ball and give it back. This is the good thing, and he wants the ball and he creating possibilities and chances for his mates. I didn't want to judge, but I didn't. Maybe Jacob Murphy have maybe a defensive role, but I wasn't very impressed about him. But maybe I didn't look too well into it. For me, I expect 1-0 Newcastle, and hopefully Wood will score.
Okay, Steve Hasty.
Keep it the same. Why change the winning formula? The only thing, as we said, is that's going to change it is if there are any niggling injuries within the squad, and if ASM isn't suffering from still a niggling injury that he had. We haven't heard anything from Eddie Howe that tells us that everybody's fit. We haven't heard from Eddie Howe that says that ASM is still carrying a knock. All we've heard is from ASM's social media team that he's fit, and that's it. So if it's down to us from what we know or what we're looking into our crystal ball as just normal fans, and my opinion is you keep a straight team, you keep the same team, the winning formula, and it's now up to the likes of ASM and Lascelles and other players in the squad to take the opportunities when they arise, if there's an injury or if there's a suspension. So I just want to see the level of performance carry on, and the fans get the opportunity to really get behind the team on Saturday after the two excellent away performances that we've had over the last two fixtures. And if that's with the same team, then fine, not a problem for me.
And your prediction, Steve?
At the moment, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Newcastle
2-0 win. Okay, Steve Wilkinson.
Yes, I'm with it. Just about the majority to keep the team as it is. What a vote of confidence and a confidence boost for Murphy to be kept in the team and keep ASM out. That should mean he should be really up for it on Saturday. And you certainly wouldn't want to be changing the left side. It was clearer that I think that Fraser played better on the left than he has done when he's been on the right side. I seem to remember he played left when he used to play at Bournemouth. Yeah. When he was in his prime, and that performance on Saturday says that left wing position is his. So you're going to have to play ASM on the right if you're going to play in a wing position. But I think I would stick with Murphy. I think he didn't do anything wrong in the same way that was said the week before that Kraft didn't do anything that deserved him to be kept out and not given another chance. So I would stick with the same team. And ASM, I mean, he's a bit like the kind of player he is. He reminds me a lot of Adamo that played for Wolves and formerly Middlesbrough. That he's that type of player that will come on and make an impact on the game. And he should be. While I'm sure he wants to play the full 90. Well, usually the full 60 until he can't be bothered anymore and falls down and rolls his knee and stuff. But to come on and have 40 minutes in the second half at full pace, he should be looking for that to really put, to build on it and put the game to bed. Whether we're needing him to do something or he's going to add to what's already going on. So I think he should be an impact sub, and I would stick with the same team. And I'm also going 2-0, and I think this time we'll see Wood break his duck. I think the crosses will be pouring in from both sides now, from Fraser and Murphy, and he'll head a goal in the hopefully in the first half, so we're comfortably winning at half time like we were on Saturday.
Good stuff. Okay, well, you heard it all here first. Yeah, go on.
Steve, can I come back just to show me Graham Matter hasn't disappeared altogether? The referee I was trying to talk about, who said he was a Chelsea fan and he didn't like Geordies, it was Graham Paul. Paul was the guy that did that. Yeah, and he had a stinking reputation for making some weird decisions.
He did.
And the other thing I'd like to finish off with is that the thing about Fraser. You remember just before Bournemouth got into trouble when he was with Bournemouth, Arsenal tried to buy Fraser for 20 million, and Howe wouldn't sell him from Bournemouth. And then shortly after that, of course, he got into the spat because Bournemouth were going down. Well, the Fraser that we saw on Saturday was easily worth 20 million.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah.
So, I think Graham Poole was the referee who booked a player twice.
Give the 3 yellow cards,
That's right.
Three yellow.
Because he was too busy. He was too busy posing and combing his own.
3 yellow cards. That's right.
Yeah, that certainly was a good question anyway. So thanks for sending that in. As always, lads, great to spend an hour with you. I'm back tomorrow, 10:30 in the morning with Supermac and Gibbo, and then I'm back with the 3 amigos on Friday. Take care, lads. See you later.
Good night, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
I know.
Ta-da.